The wheels on the bus go round and round, round and round, round. Oh, hang on. Let's show Liverpool because someone's got thrown under that bus. Who is it? Is it Salah? Is it Slot? Who knows? But this is brilliant. Let's get straight into this. Welcome back to 2 Hours, 2 Innings Football. This episode is sponsored by Darius Optometrists. Boys, I mean, I know we've just finished watching the Manchester United game, and for once we actually won convincingly. But I've got to say, we've got to park that bus, no pun intended for a moment. Let's get straight onto the Anfield bus, because what the hell is going on at Anfield?
Oh my God. I couldn't believe when he came out and said what he said. I mean, come on. He said he's been thrown under the bus.
I think if you were to look at sportsman suicide 101, I think this is going to be how Mo Salah leaves his legacy at Liverpool. I mean, this guy is a club legend. He has won the Golden Boot 4 times whilst being at Liverpool. Single-handedly probably carried him to the Premier League last season, and got his contract. Okay, fair enough. He's not been playing well. But you know what? He's only been sidelined for 3 games. Like that is spitting out the dummy to a whole new level. Like I mean, I'm honestly loving it as a United fan because this is just like seeing the calamitous, disastrous. That's probably not even a word, but disastrous kind of mess that's happening at Liverpool right now is unreal. We saw the drop in form. We thought, okay, the players are just taking time to gel. But now we've got the players talking back about the manager. And Mo Salah wasted no time. He went straight to the first journalist he could see. And he said, this is exactly how I feel. I'm not happy at the club. I feel like somebody wants me out. I feel like I've been thrown under the bus. Me and the manager had a relationship. Now we don't have no relationship like that.
And he said the promises
crazy.
made in the summer. He said promises made in the summer not been fulfilled. I mean, come on. It's only 8 months ago he signed his contract extension.
Yeah.
In April
Are they not
2025.
paying him for 100k? Are they giving him only 300? Like what's going on?
You know what? If it was my club player, I would be fuming. These things should be talked inside the dressing room, not bloody outside in the world and not to the media.
Yeah, I mean, for me, it had a sense of a bit of like Ronaldo's interview with Piers Morgan when he left Manchester United, but I think, or ended up leaving Manchester United under Erik ten Hag. But I think there's a little bit difference there. That Ronaldo was actually.
He actually cared for the club. He cared for the club, and then he wanted the truth to be out. Exactly.
But this is just about Mo Salah here, and again, I know we ridicule Jamie Carragher a lot, but he actually has made a very valid point kind of recently that the only time you ever hear Mo, and he said it before as well, before this interview, that the only time you ever hear Mo Salah speak is if him and his agent have got some agenda, or he wants a new contract, or he wants to play a different position, or whatever. And he, and I don't know if this is true, but he said this is in 8 years, this is only the 4th time he's actually spoken in the mix zone. 4th time. He's not come out and when Liverpool have been playing awful, spoke up instead of his captain. But there's things that are happening at Liverpool because allegedly, again, another respected journalist who's seems to have quite a lot of inside information, Richard Keys, he seems to think that he's not the only one. That there's another very senior is what he said, member of the Liverpool Football Club who is feeling the very similar way as Mo Salah is.
But if you see this season, he only has scored 5 goals in 18 games so far. So he's been below par.
Yeah, I think so.
But,
I mean,
listen. Can I just say?
Yeah.
I went on record, and you can go back all of the episodes before when we did start this podcast. We said who had the best transfer window. Okay, yeah, Liverpool probably had the best transfer window. But did I not say Mohamed Salah is going to have a massive drop off because of these new signings? Because the system's not working, and because if you looked at the majority of his goals last season as well, they came from Robertson, they came from Trent. It comes from the swift play, which Liverpool counter-attacked amazing. The speed that they could get the ball from their own box to the opposition box.
It was really
like
quick.
4 or 5 seconds.
That's what it was like.
Now it's too slow. Yeah.
Yeah.
But what I would say is this: obviously, Richard Hughes and Michael Edwards, obviously key and instrumental in listening to the fans because everybody wanted Mohamed Salah to stay. Now, obviously, hindsight is a beautiful thing. But, the question obviously is now thinking, every Liverpool fan is thinking, is like, probably we should have let him go at the end of last season. It would have been a perfect farewell.
Did he overstay?
Even Van Dijk, to be fair, if you look at it really deeply, players drop off. After winning a Premier League title, it is difficult to stay on the top level.
But the age as well, though. It's not just about the title. I don't know how old Van Dijk is, but Salah's 33. That's. I know he seems to be in good condition, and it only seems like eight months ago he was, tearing up defenses and destroying kind of any
PFA Player of the Year last year.
Yeah, he's amazing. But at the end of the day, when you get to that age, body changes, especially as an elite athlete. You don't know how the body's changing, and heads are going to roll.
You would probably I just said that you would probably expect that drop to happen at the later half of the season, though, isn't it? This was kind of at the straight away. Like he didn't have many goal contributions in the first 5 games. I think he only got the one. In Bournemouth, he did get the one goal, I think, or the assist. But then after that, he kind of went quiet quite a lot of the games. And
he only scored 5 goals so far in 18 games.
So Slot had to put him on the bench. But Mohamed Salah, for as much as an amazing professional as he is as a sports person, as a legend to Liverpool, I think this has totally put a huge crack and a huge divide between Liverpool supporters now, because it's either are you rooting for the club or are you rooting for the player? And as Man United fans, we had our own Ronaldo and Ten Hag, and I don't know if this is scripted in some weird universe by the football gods, but we've got another bald Dutch manager versus another club legend, and it's just at this rate, Villa might as well win the league because it seems like it's just going crazy at the moment.
We should put bet on.
Honestly,
boys, I wanna ask you both, right? He said, if Harry Kane misses 10 games without scoring, everyone says, for sure, he will come back. When Mo Salah misses 10 games without scoring, everyone say he should be on the bench. Is it right, or is it just ego gone wild?
Well, I question Edge's point about him being a professional. I think his interview was far from professional. As you said a moment ago, Rohit, that kind of stuff should be kept in-house. If he genuinely cared for his teammates and the football club, it doesn't matter about how unhappy you are, you keep it in-house. And again, if he's not happy for whatever reason, and we don't know because we're not on the inside, then that will affect his performance. How many times have we worked in cultures or environments that something's not quite right, and no matter how hard we try, we just can't give 100% for whatever reason. I'm not saying it's acceptable, but these kind of things do play into life, don't they?
Yeah. I think more so than anything is when he said, particularly in his interview, was, I feel like I've earned my place, like I've earned my position to be in the club.
Is Carragher right then?
You know what?
Is Carragher right then to say it's always about me, and me when we hear him?
That's ego.
Maybe it's moaning Mo. That's what a lot of people always say, like moaning Mo. He's only going to speak when he wants something. He's spitting the dummy out. But it's more about the timing. It's more than anything. It's about the timing. He could have gone to AFCON, and he could have maybe said some interview back in AFCON at that period, and that might have then not felt as bad because obviously he's saying it from afar. And he might say, yeah, you know what, I've not been playing the best. Oh, I didn't like when I was on the bench. But to say it straight after a Leeds game, I guarantee if it was 3-2 to Liverpool, he wouldn't have said it.
No, this is what Carragher said as well, actually.
He picked that opportunity.
Carragher said that the timing of this, when Liverpool are down at the moment, if you see all the, they're not at the top, they're not winning games, they're drawing or losing the games. It's the wrong time to come out to the media and say something like this. I mean... It's not
it's a perfect time for everyone else. It's a perfect time for everyone else. Man City, Man United, this is pure gold. This is amazing. Like, bro, guys, I was literally editing our video from the last podcast, and my phone was blowing up with the social media like X and TikTok, and even our WhatsApp group. It was like, have you heard what Mo Salah said? I'm like, guys, come on, man, I'm trying to edit this video. But like, honestly, it is just crazy how much that kind of has taken over. All the YouTube channels, all the fans, the pundits are reacting to this.
Have you heard from our friend Dheeraj? What he's saying about him?
I think he's on Salah's team, man. I think he wants Slot out now. I think this is this is a question for you guys. So obviously Amit and Rohit as well. Probably Amit, I'll start with you first. You've got to play it because you're in a managerial role. You manage a team. You work for a team. You work within a team, but then you also lead a team. If you've got one bad egg, you've got somebody who's literally just come out after a game. You played poorly, and you've sat that person out, and you said, "Look, you're not performing today." They've come out against you. They've come out against you. Yeah, they've literally just said, "Look, I'm not happy with the manager. Our relationship now is just finished." He's obviously not playing in the Champions League game, so that's obviously been news to us. Obviously today that he's not going to go to Inter Milan. So what are your steps now? Because it's ultimately now it's player v manager now, and you're going to have a large group of fans wanting you out, but then there's a large group of fans that say no, it's the club before the player. So where's your hat?
I mean, in normal professional life, I think that scenario is very difficult because you can't just kind of get rid of someone because they're predicted by HR. Yet in football, for some reason, it's just so easy to sack a manager because of poor performance, or you can sell on a player. Obviously, I've worked with people who haven't got on with that. That's life, but you get on with it. But so in this situation, I think Slot's done the right thing. I think he's shown strong leadership by not including him in the Champions League squad for the game against Inter. I think that was quite key. So obviously what's going to happen now is obviously it's the back office stuff. Allegedly it's the directors who are going to take over handling this situation, but it's an untenable situation now. So either Slot goes, either Salah goes, but I reckon both are going to go.
So what is Abid saying? Both gone. Oh my God.
That is a bold statement there by Amit.
Definitely needs a £10 bet on this.
Yeah, it's worth a punt, that one is.
Right, what do you think?
You know what? I remember if we go back to Aubameyang case when he was kind of wasn't doing well as well, and then he was being that wrong influence to the other teammates. That's the first thing Mikel did. Doesn't care if he's a captain, he needs to go. So if it was me and manager, he did the right thing. Yeah. Definitely did the right thing. He needs to be disciplined. He needs to be told that he's not bigger than the club. So he did the right thing. I think he should be sold, and that I think he will get sold. I don't think Slot will get sacked, but I think Salah will probably. Maybe that's why he's engineering his move to Saudi Arabia, whatever. That's the rumors as well. I read online. Maybe there is another bid coming from Saudi League, and then maybe he wants to go there now. Maybe he thought he made a big mistake by extending his contract. He should have gone after. That's the best time to go after you win something. If you're like 33, 34, you won the league, amazing, and go. He should have gone, but yeah.
I mean, if you were either thinking maybe the players and the manager were saying, right, we're going to try and go for the Champions League next season, then maybe you might want it to stay on for another year. But again, with all the summer signings, the way that the team has not been performing well, it's just not been a good time for Liverpool right now. And I think obviously, like you said, if one of them has to go, I think, like how we saw with the Ronaldo situation with Ten Hag, I think the board are trusting Slot. And I think it would be quite Liverpool-like. I think it would be un-Liverpool-like to sack the manager to please the player, because then, like you said, it's just going to set a huge negative precedent. Yeah, because then that it will just run rife through the dressing room. Nobody's going to trust each other. No one's going to trust the manager. There'll be arguments and debates. And
the culture will go down.
It'll be gone. All that hard work.
Yeah,
and Roy, you talked about this so many times about the culture, and I totally agree with you that all that hard work that Liverpool have done to get that culture right, that Jurgen Klopp seemed to have done, that it just goes to show, if this situation is not managed properly by Liverpool, then all that hard work of the past 6, 7, 8 years can just go like that.
It will go down.
It just shows, that it's a constant battle with culture, that because just life, there's going to be some bad apples that come up, and you've got to be strong enough in your leadership and your values that you get rid of those bad apples. And this is the time. And I think the first step is that Slot. Sorry, as I said, he's made the right thing. Call first of all by not putting Mo Salah into the squad for the Champions. That's a tick for me. So let's see what happens after that.
Yeah, definitely. You live the culture every day. You don't say, here's a culture for next 3 months, here's a culture for next 6 months. You live the culture every day. You set the standards every day. You can't change it. And plus, it does not make any business sense either, if you say in business context, to sack Slot and keep Salah. Salah is 33-year-old. He's not 22-year-old. He's not big asset, because they know Saudi's gonna, if there is a bid coming from Saudi League, it's gonna be good bid. It's better to sell than to sack Slot. It doesn't make business sense to me to keep Salah and then sack Slot.
Well, I think
but if
they're
there
gonna
is
do both.
another, well, if there's another, like you said, senior player that's not happy, then obviously, what does Slot do now? Does he say, look, January, fine, we need another reshuffle.
I
We've got
think
to
he'll
sell
do it.
3 players,
Yeah.
4 players, and we've got to buy another 3 or 4 players. We need to get Mark Gay in.
I don't, I don't think that they will
what's gonna
need
be the
any 3
strategy
more
for
players.
Slot?
They just if they sell Salah, they just need Marguerite or any defender, basically. If you see, Etikete can play there, Isaac can play in the middle, Ekitike can play on that wing. So, and then I don't think they need too much shuffling as of now in January. Maybe in the summer they may sit back and say, okay, decide how did the season go on, and then what else we need, what other players we need. Definitely they will buy someone in the January transfer window, because they need to sort out their defense. Their defense is all over the place.
Yeah.
Mm.
Good. Anyway,
As
you said, it's brilliant for us United fans. There's been some drama at Liverpool.
But there was someone mentioned Arsenal should buy Salah. I said no.
I actually thought but you know what? The problem is his salary.
Because of injury. Give him 6 months.
Salary. Yeah. But he's got a winning mentality. But then again, you just don't know what his personality is like. Is he going to be more disruptive to the culture that Arteta's created? Again, we don't know him, so
we don't know exactly.
We're kind of
don't know what's happening.
Hypothesizing here. So
See, I don't mind players sharing their feelings. I don't mind it. They have to. They are humans. But there is a right place and right time to share those feelings as well.
But he's not always been like that. That's the issue, though. With it. This is for if Carragher's right. It's different if he was like that every week. If every week he was reacting rather than responding, then that's fine, because that's his personality trait. But he's done this allegedly 4 times over 8 years, and there's always an agenda every time. That's the issue. Why wasn't he? If he's one of the senior members of the team, why wasn't he standing there next to Virgil van Dijk when Liverpool were going for that? I mean, they still are in the rough patch, but when they were really in their rough patch, when they lost all them games consecutively, and he was still in the team at that point as well. Fair enough, he's not in the team now, so you could say he can't dictate play because he's not on the pitch. But at that time, he was on the pitch. He was contributing to those losses. So
oh my. I mean, I was thinking, guys, what a day we live in, isn't it? When Liverpool crisis is more important than United winning that game tonight.
We don't need to talk about Wolves. I was one thing, sorry, I will say, is listening to Jamie Carragher at the beginning. I mean, one thing I will say is, Mr. Carragher, I think you should leave the commentary before the commentary leaves you, mate, because he had an absolute stinker. He said, when have I ever made a comment about Mo Salah whilst he's on the pitch? And then obviously, then he was like, well, you did
last
say
week,
Salah lost legs about 2 weeks ago. And I think Jamie Carragher, as much as he wants to stay professional, I know it's hurting him from the inside. Like, you could even see that Champions League game when he was hosting on TNT or CBS. He was hurting inside when it was 4-1 to PSV. Like, for him, obviously, the bias is there because he's an ex-Liverpool player, but he knows that this is terrible for Liverpool. This is some PR suicide going on here. Salah's doing it, like I said, right at the wrong time. But my kind of feeling is that if he just wanted to push for a move to Saudi, why couldn't he just go to the board of directors and just said it quietly and just said,
exactly,
I'm not happy.
Just
not happy.
Yeah,
I'm not happy with the management.
That's why, because if he did that, he's asking for a transfer request, so he's going to be at risk of losing his bonuses. That's what it is. So this is a way of engineering.
But we don't know, isn't it? But there will be a good bid anyway.
There is
anyway.
Definitely 100%. If a player asks for a transfer, they don't get their bonuses. So that's 100%.
But then there is no bonus anyway, so they haven't won anything.
No, you don't know what his bonuses are. Like incentives. No, but I mean, there's definitely because I heard Stan Collymore was saying when he's talking about transfers at the start of the season, it's really interesting because that's not outside of the football that we get to understand much. Well, I don't get to understand. Or I'm sure many don't understand properly, and I'm not saying I do still. But he said that's the reason why players refuse to ask for a transfer request, because they lose their loyalty bonuses or whatever their kind of structure is. And
there's quite a lot of clauses. Yeah, that's why.
So he doesn't want to go to he doesn't want to go to Saudi Arabia allegedly, okay, but he doesn't want to ask for it, because if he asks for it, then he's going to lose a load of money. So this is maybe him way of manoeuvring that. but we don't know, do we? But anyway, it's great. So let's talk about actually what we were going to talk about today. I mean, I've actually wrote more notes about Liverpool and Mo Salah than I did about Manchester United. But I mean, United started brilliantly. I mean, they were brilliant in the first 15 minutes, and then they're pretty decent in the second half. Wolves came back strong, so I wasn't surprised it was 1-1 at half time. But your thoughts on the game, Ajay?
I mean, United conceding a goal is an inevitability at this point now. We can't seem to hold a 1-0 advantage. But yeah, going into halftime, I was a bit annoyed. I thought, Wolves, they let us play quite nicely through the middle, and I was quite happy with seeing Mason Mount. I think he had a fantastic game. Cunha looked a little bit off of it today. I think he's probably still kind of regaining his fitness from obviously his concussion. But I thought Ahmad played well and Mbeumo played well. But it was nice just to see the midfield. We were actually doing quite well in spraying the passes around and trying to get in behind Wolves' defence. So we had a great, like you said, 20 minutes. But then we let Wolves get back into it once it went to 1-1. And that was a great goal. But again, just silly mistakes from United in the back. This 5 at the back is still kind of needing some ironing out, because Ahmad, if he is not reading the ball properly, he leaves a Wolves attacker free to play the ball back into a dangerous area, and that's obviously where the goal came from. But overall, in the second half, United came out really well. I thought, they did really good. In Mbeumo to get the goal, it was a fantastic, play. And then obviously for Mason Mount running through to latch onto a cross by Bruno, I thought that was fantastic. Beautiful finish, composure, calm. And then obviously the penalty. The interesting thing I will say about the penalty, and we talk about VAR quite a lot, is that it was exactly similar to the handball that was in the first half from a Wolves player, which actually looked more deliberate. So I was like, how was that one not a penalty? But then they've given this one as a penalty, which seemed a little bit less suspect. So again, some kind of, I think, VAR controversy there a little bit. But by then, I think the game was quite easily won for United. I don't think Wolves were really back in the game at that point. I think it was quite easy for United. And it was good to see Molineux back on the pitch as well. So I know there's obviously a lot of talk a fallout between him and maybe the manager, or possibly some friction there. But it was good that the manager gave him some minutes, and also for Joshua Zirkzee as well, and Lenny Yoro, and obviously Martinez. So a routine, I think, win for United, given everything if you looked at it as a whole. But there's still some ironing points to do for United's defence in particular.
Rohit, what did you watch the game?
Yeah, I did. So Man United had 25 shots today, the most in any game under Amorim. Wow, It has to be Wolves, I think. They are the worst team in the league, I suppose. I mean, first half, like I said, I think the goal was coming. Remember, guys, I said, when they scored, I think they were on attack. They didn't start well, Wolves, and then they came back after they gone 1-0 down. They came back into the game. They go to 1-1, and then second half, I think you guys were superb. I think you didn't give them a sniff at all. You were I think United was superb in second half, to be honest, I should say. But then I'm thinking, like, every time he makes the kind of same changes, he takes the back 4, back 3, or whatever he plays with 3-4-3. He takes the old defenders out, put defenders in. I mean, my worry is there is no consistent one partnership going in every game. He keeps changing in the back 4 or back 3 or back 5. There is no one consistent back 5 in the games.
Yeah. So
this is, I mean, it's fine against Wolves. You guys were winning. That's why probably he thought, let me change it, give some minutes to Sanchez and Euro. But then again, if he keeps changing it, I've seen him a few times now. He keeps changing the back 5.
Thing is, if you look at the back 3, there's only actually one recognised centre back. It was Heaven. Shaw's a left back. Mazraoui's a full back as well. Yeah. So really, out of the back 5, at the back 5, there was actually only one true.
Yeah, but when he made the changes, Martinez came in and Yori came in. So Euro is it?
But they're coming back.
Yeah, they're coming back as well. So I'm just thinking. But yeah, I think overall, I think you guys did pretty well. But again, getting conceded, the way you got conceded, they conceded the goal, it was awful defending.
Yeah, but I mean, let's be honest though. I wasn't hopeful because just not hopeful United at the moment. But they should be beating this Wolves team.
They should.
They've not won in 15 games. They've lost 8 games in a row. It's the worst start in their history. They're languishing in the bottom of the table. So for them, they're probably just planning now for kind of next year, really, in terms of next season. Sorry, in the Championship and how they can build their squad for. They were. they were poor. You know, they were
Yeah.
poor. United weren't great. We were made to look great. You know, I think it's a positive night for Amrin because you still got to win. You know, it doesn't matter who the opposition is, and so they won 4-1. He
But
was
should you
able to
be
give
celebrating?
Mainu some minutes, and that should maybe ease the pressure on from the press conferences in terms of the press, you know, on his back. But you know, he didn't have much time to do much really, did he? So
But should you be celebrating this win tonight, or just saying, okay, it's a positive thing? We got some players got some minutes. We scored 4 goals. Let's forget it now. Move on.
Move on.
yeah,
100%.
move on.
Yeah, 100.
Yeah. It's not
Because
we
if you
turned
look
the
at it,
corner.
yeah, well, if you look at it, obviously Everton we lost. Then it was a draw against obviously like West Ham. So this was certainly something that we needed to, 100% put a marker down and say, look, okay, we're not faltering too much. We're not rocking the boat too much. We need to, fully get the sails straight, be on the right track. And now look at, we moved up to 5th in the
Sixth,
table.
I think.
Or 6th.
Yeah,
Sorry,
yeah,
6th.
yeah.
We're in 6th of the
Goal
table.
difference, yeah.
So
Yeah.
so this is how
Same
different
point
could it
as
change? I think
Chelsea.
we were
Wow.
12th, or I think we were 11th or 12th, and now we've
Yeah.
moved up to 6th.
Same
So
point as
this is how
Chelsea.
tight-
Wow.
Exactly. So this is how tight the table is.
Oh my
But I
God.
think one thing Amrin needs to sort out is, again, obviously with injuries. I mean, we've not got Maguire, we've not got Delay, who are recognised centre back.
Same as us.
I'm still not kind of convinced with Dalot. I still feel like he's a bit of a liability in that left centre back.
He should have scored that goal. He should have scored that goal.
Yeah, he should have scored that goal too. But this is the thing is, like, United, when you don't score goals, you struggle to score goals later down the matches. Well, you need to have a game like this where, okay, Bruno's got some assists and he got a penalty and a goal. I personally think Cunha should have taken the penalty just to give him some confidence. But Mbeumo got a goal. Ahmad was looking sharp. These are games where you need to batter the lower teams in order to get some momentum going. Otherwise you end up in a drought where you've not scored for 3-4 games, and then it starts taking a toll on your mental. It can happen to even like Gyökeres. If he doesn't have a game soon where he scores a brace, it's going to really affect him, and he might lead into next year without having a goal. So these games come quick and fast, and the opportunities are so limited. So I'm glad that United have managed to take that. I mean, we love Monday nights. We're going to be playing again on a Monday night.
Again on Monday,
next week.
Yeah.
So, and then I think we've got one at Boxing Day against Newcastle. So I'm just hoping that with Old Trafford,
we always play Newcastle at Boxing Day.
Yeah. So we've got Bournemouth, who are a tricky. He's going to be
your audio.
Mike. The interesting thing though is that again we played away from home and it was a good performance. Again, you got to put it into context who the opposition was, but our away performances seem to be the better ones. So if you look at over the last few games, Crystal Palace we beat away 2-1. We beat the Wolves.
Back to wins.
Away wins. We lost against 10-man Everton. Drew against West Ham. So is it, as we talked about before, the pressure of Old Trafford? We don't know. But in terms of Cunha, I thought Cunha was trying too hard. It was like he was trying to prove a point to his old teammates that I was the main man here before, and this is what you're missing.
He was.
Yeah, to be fair, I think and I just wanted to just go on your point as well. I mean, is that why we're playing so good away? Is because I think with this system, it's a very kind of, I would say, kind of like counter-attacking system where if we let teams come in, we can then exploit the spaces in the middle, and that's what we were seen to do. Because there was one good play, I think, between like Bruno, Cunha, and Mbeumo when it was a chance on goal, and it was a little back heel flick by Cunha. It was a nice quick move through the middle, and that's the kind of play that we need to see because we can exploit teams' defenses when we've got a lot of their players in our half. The problem with Old Trafford then is that when we're playing at home, a lot of the teams like to just sit back, and then we're struggling to penetrate a low block. So the goal that Mount had scored, which was like a nice Bruno cross over the defence, that's what we've been crying out at Old Trafford, especially at the Everton game, and especially at West Ham. We just need that ball over and somebody to make a run from midfield in order to go behind the defenders. And I think that's how we're going to beat teams at Old Trafford, because otherwise, unfortunately, the 3-4-3, you're always going to have a spare defender like Yoro, who's going to have a lot of the ball all the time, and teams are just going to sit back and just let United play side by side, and it's not going to get anywhere. And then eventually we'll cross the ball and it's not going to go to anyone. So I think that's why our struggles, like maybe like even how Tottenham are, Tottenham were kind of similar setup with Frank, is that they seem to be better when the teams are coming towards them, as opposed to them setting the precedent. That's why Tottenham are better away.
Yeah, but if you see as well, like United came into like a very toxic stadium today. Their Wolves fan didn't even enter till 15th minute.
18th minute,
yeah, they were protesting against the ownership. So so I think again, I would say, like you guys said, move on. That's it. You have to win. If you have lost this game tonight or drew this game, that would have been, crisis, to be honest, if they couldn't beat this team at the moment. And I'm saying this, Wolves coming into us this weekend. This football is a funny game, but let's see. Hope we win as well. But the Wolves at the moment, I think they are. I think they are bottom, and then they're destined for relegation. I think it looks like only 2 points, like after 15 games. No chance.
Which is such a shame. I think when we started this podcast, the season, and we named our relegation, teams. I don't think any of us said Wolves.
No, we never thought Wolves would get
I thought Wolves would have a bad drop off.
Yeah.
But it just goes to show. But one thing I will say that I felt, I don't know if you've seen this, Rohit, is that there seems to be actually a decent camaraderie between the players. So they always seem to be, after a goal, there seem to be a lot of them grouping up to celebrate it. So it appears from afar that there's a good camaraderie between the players. And I think that's
probably building a culture there.
Yeah, and so that's always a good start as well. At the end of the day, if you've got that respect, mutual respect, and camaraderie that you're winning this together, then that's the first big step in terms of, as you said, building that, resetting that culture and keeping that culture going. So,
small steps, guys. It was small steps. Yeah,
baby steps. Yeah, but the problem is everyone wants results quickly. People
that's the world we live in, right?
People aren't prepared to be patient. The days of having managers for long. Probably Mikel Arteta is very fortunate.
Very lucky.
That he's got a leadership team behind him that are kind of believe in in him and what he's trying to achieve.
Yeah. I know we're not talking about Arsenal, but I had something in my chest. I wanna come out and say this, right? There's a lot of things happening since we lost against Villa. And everyone is saying how bad that is. When City lost, there was nothing like this. Nothing like this. When Arsenal lost, and last second, City lost like easily. We actually gave them a game as well. We lost at the last second, and they're saying Emery is that. No wonder he's a great coach. No wonder. But has he won a league anywhere apart from PSG? He won the cups.
He won the Europa League quite a bit, didn't he?
Yeah, 3 times or 4 times. 3 times with Sevilla, 1 time with Villarreal, and he got us into the final as well. But has he won a league? Has he won a league anywhere apart from PSG? PSG is easy. Anyone goes there, I can go there and then say, guys, play there like this. I know, I'm just kidding. I can't. But I'm just saying it's easy league to win. And then with only one team who's like a super team in that league, he hasn't won a league anywhere. In La Liga or anywhere else.
What I would say is that what he's doing with Villa is looking good. Like, you have to remember, you're only 3 points now, a difference. And
but that is every year. That is every year. He's there.
Yeah. But what I'm saying is that, it's a fortuitous situation for them because obviously a lot of other teams have dropped off. Chelsea, Liverpool, even Newcastle, Tottenham are not looking good. So Aston Villa's position in the table could be a slight exaggeration because of maybe, they are doing really well, but other teams are doing really poor too at the same time. But I wouldn't write them off. I think what Unai is doing at Aston Villa looks really good. And it just shows that, obviously, the reaction of your players, though, at the end of the final whistle was just hilarious. To see David Raya slap the floor with both hands on the front, it was hilarious.
But that shows how much they care.
Yeah. Exactly. I don't think it's hilarious. I think it's brilliant. That's what I want to see. That shows they care.
Exactly.
For me, if
they got the ball out of the corner, that would have been better.
Yeah, honestly, I'm with you, Rohit. I don't understand you shared an image that there was mimicking the reaction of the Arsenal. But what do you want them, as you said, what do you want them to do? Have a laugh and a joke?
Yeah.
If they were laughing and joking, they would have said, they don't care.
Oh, they don't care.
This is normal Arsenal. This is exactly what you want to see. You want to see your players that actually care for the club they're playing and having a bit of pride in the shirt they're wearing. And the team that that's paying their wages.
Yeah, I just wanted to share my frustration last couple of days.
It's good to talk, man, Rohit. Get it out your chest.
I know, man. Get it out of my chest. I really wanted. Emery is a great coach, but some coaches are meant for some clubs. Sometimes they fit the system, sometimes they fit the environment, sometimes they don't. You put them into different environment, they probably won't perform as good as they performed last time. So he's a great coach. He's brilliant. He didn't work with Arsenal, and then all this narrative, all this that he's amazing. He's good. I would say he's very good, but he's not amazing. because he hasn't won any league anywhere. Yeah, he's not great. Exactly. Yeah. And Mikel is not great either until he wins the leagues and until he wins the trophies.
Because
but be careful what you wish for.
No, but the thing is,
he will like Rice said, don't judge him now, judge him at the end of his career. That's what Rice said, because those players work with him every day. That's what he said. Rice said, don't judge him now, judge him at the end of his career as a manager.
And quickly on the Emery thing, again, you talked about the environments and stuff, but sometimes when you're managing or playing, so exactly we talked about this for United players, when you're playing for a lesser team, the expectations are a lot different compared to where you're playing for an elite club.
Yes.
So the pressure becomes different because there's the media spotlight's on there. You've got double the fans who are kind of watching you. The world is watching. The world's press are watching you. So there's so many different pressures. The players, the egos of the players that you're dealing with are very different. You're dealing with kind of typically established world-class players compared to one or two. So it's juggling all those balls. If you look back to kind of David Moyes was a chosen one, is what we kept being told, because he did such a wonderful job at Everton, yet he didn't even last the season. Now was that because he was out, and it was simply because they felt he was out of his depth. That was such a rash, quick decision that they made, that they just see that he just wasn't dealing with these high-profile players as he should have, and that was one of the leading factors for him getting the sack.
Yeah, and another thing. Okay, I'm gonna finish here. But another thing I would said was, remember when he was at Arsenal, everyone mocked him for saying good evening, right? Everyone mocked him. I was so pissed off. I said, why are they mocking him for his English? He's not English. He's Spanish. But since he's been to Villa, no one mocked him for this. That shows what happens. I know, Ajay, you're saying another violin coming in, but this is the reality, guys. I'm giving you the example of the reality.
But that's from the bullying, though.
Can you please comment underneath the video and put good evening, Rohit?
But anyway, that's it, man. I just want you to get out of this today. But yeah, thanks.
Good. Well, as long as you feel better, Rohit, we're here to listen.
I'll only feel better at the end of the season with the Premier League trophy.
When he's at Villa Park.
That's how I'm gonna get a new shirt. That's how I'm not wearing my shirt. I'm gonna wear this once we finish. I'll win the league.
Right then, boys, it's been great catching up. As I said, I'm surprised that we've actually talked more about Liverpool than we have about United or Arsenal, but we did manage to speak about our club. So it's been a good day at the office for Manchester United, winning 4-1. Kobe Mainoo gets to play, but let's see what happens to that bus at Anfield. Until the next time, stay safe. Please do like, subscribe, and leave your comments in.
Yeah. Will he walk alone after this? Let's see.
Ooh, good one.
Mo. How do you like me? How do you like me? Mo.